And quick disclaimer here. We will not talk the whole time about Java 20. So we will talk about futures from Java 8 to Java 20 that made Java a hipper language. And we had a lot of discussions, Barry, about making Java more accessible to newer generations, starting out developers, making it more attractive, right?
I am a professor at a small college in New Jersey, so one of my grand interests is making Java look more attractive to younger, new, novice people studying computer science.
So let's do this starting from, I say, Java 10 to Java 21, and see what we have in stock for today. Your speakers are Professor Barry Burd from the New York SIG, Java SIG, right?
Java Special Interest Groups, Java
Yes.
SIG, yes. And Garden State.
Of course, yes. How can I forget? Yeah.
Garden State, yeah.
Java
okay.
User Group.
And Richard is from Jug Oberpfalz.
Very good pronunciation.
Thank you,
yes.
thank you, thank
This
you.
is in Bavaria, but nobody cares for that.
Okay.
So, okay. So we're gonna take you on a nice night out to the cinema, and let me stop the music for a second.
Stop the music for good.
For good, yes, absolutely. So you had enough of that.
There we
okay.
go, okay.
So we're gonna take you out to a nice night in the movies, and we will watch several of them, and each movie will represent a little example, and you gotta remember all those movies, because we will have a little poll in the end, which is the best movie, and we will give a prize out to the best movie, right, Barry?
We're giving a prize out?
Yeah, I think so. So
I didn't know about the prize.
yeah. Okay, you do live coding, right?
What?
You want to do live coding now, or what? With the first movie?
Do I want to do what?
Live coding?
Live code? Oh, yes,
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 please,
I'm going to do
please.
live coding.
Okay, start it.
Boom. Right? Have you heard of Groundhog Day? Raise your hand if you've heard of Groundhog Day. I mean, it's a legend, right? And what's it about? It's about repetition. And what do we say in computer programming? We say, don't repeat yourself, right? So way back before Java 10, you had to repeat yourself. And in order to define a concurrent skip, list, map, days, events, days, Groundhog Day, et cetera, you had to repeat concurrent skip, list, map twice. So what I'm going to do now, live coding-wise, is present to you the way that you can do it from Java 10 on. Because in Java 10, we have the special restricted keyword var. It's for local variable type inference. So here we go, right? Type events to, let's see, I'm typing.
What you doing, Barry?
What? Yeah, I'm doing, yeah.
Yeah, you do it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm typing it, yeah, okay. And so the restricted reserve word var can be used to avoid repetition, a la Groundhog Day, day after day after day. Repetition of concurrent skip list map, whereas you don't need that repetition. We certainly don't need it in code. And unnecessary repetition in code makes code harder to read, and it also makes it so that the code is more prone to errors. Now, the var keyword, if it bothers you, because you may have used it in some of your legacy code, or it may be found in some of your legacy code, is not to be scared of, because it's a restricted keyword. A restricted keyword means that it has a special meaning in this context, but in other contexts, in legacy contexts, for instance, almost all legacy contexts, you can use it freely. So for example, I'm typing now, right?
I can see that. What are you doing here?
What?
Yeah, we said we've got...
Yeah, I'm typing. Yeah, okay, right, there we go. So this kind of a statement, if you find it in if you decide to substitute var in the beginning of a declaration, you can still say var equals new var. And I've been trying to work out other examples where I use var in crazy ways to try to illustrate the fact that this is a restricted keyword. So I have a contest that I'm running, and my name is Barry Burd. My email is barry@burd.org, B-U-R-D.org. And the nature of the contest is as follows. What I'm looking for is the craziest, most convoluted reuse of the restricted keyword var in a var declaration. And the winner of the contest gets bragging rights. So if you can think of other ways to extend this example and use var in various ways, please let me know. Just one note, though. This var keyword cannot be used for fields. It can only be used for local variable type inference, which means you can use it in the declaration inside methods. You can also use it in the initialization part of a for loop. You can't use it for fields, and I've asked many experts why you can't use it for fields. Turns out that the reason is because there's too much exposure of declarations of fields in the documentation and in the JVM. And that leads to too much exposure, too much insecurity, too much room for possible errors. So use this. It's a great feature. It just makes coding much more fun, much easier, and my students like it too. Okay, good live coding?
I don't know about that, Barry.
You didn't think I what?
No. This is clearly a video, right?
You think this is a video? We're supposed to do live coding in this.
Yeah, sure. What did you do?
No, it's a video. Forget it. Okay, don't. All right, just go on. All right.
Okay. Okay. Let's do another one. So this was the first example. We're moving on to the second example. The second one is, in this case, Star Wars. And we will do text blocks. And those were introduced in Java 15. So we're moving from Java 10 to Java 15. This is like warp speed, when you know what I mean. So and for this, we have real code here. Let me see where it is. We have our text blocks here, and we have some code. But the really nice code is here. You all know about Grogu, right? The little baby Yoda. There was not so much Star Wars fans in the audience. But it's the baby Yoda, and he or she, we don't know the gender, but this little creature does not know what it's doing, so it's writing code like this. So this is very unappealing, I'd say. So, and what we want to have is something like this. We want to have a nice Millennium Falcon, right? So this is a spaceship in ASCII.
That looks much better.
Yeah, I think so too. But as you can see, the coherence between what the code looks like and what the result looks like is not much. So this is bad. Because figure out from this code that I showed you before that this should be a Millennium Falcon, this is really hard. So,
and this is really difficult to compose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is why I copy and pasted it, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So, and we turn to our Jedi Master, Luke Skywalker, and Luke has a much better way to do this. So when Luke does it, it looks like this. And as you can see, it's very easy to see the similarity between the output and the input. And as you can see, when I render this, Luke's looks like the same. So it's the output is the input. This is very good. And of course, I know your day-to-day job does not involve creating ASCII art all the time, even though it should. But you could do something like this website rendering that I did to render those HTML documents. And it looks kind of like this. So let me zoom out a little bit. And I do not know why my scrolling is not working.
Maybe it's my
I don't know, but you get it. So as you can see, I can have my HTML tags here lined up, so it's very clear to see what I'm doing. And then I'm doing this formatted and filling in my title. I have a little variable here. So, and this is something that I don't like that much, but we are getting better with this. So this is Java 15. In Java 21, so not Java 20, Java 21, we are getting this nice piece of code, and these are string templates, and this will be a preview, so this is not finalized. And as you can see, you can use nice things, placeholders like this, like title and text, and you can render your web page. And as you can see, it will use your local variables here to fill this, and then you get this output where it puts for title, my web page, which is really, really nice. And this is a feature that we have been missing in the Java space for a long, long time and had to compensate with crazy frameworks. So I think this is a good thing, and I'm hoping for Java 21 and looking forward to September when this is coming as a preview feature. Right.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, let's do the next one. Have you heard of Everything Everywhere All at Once? Raise your hand if you have. A show of hands, okay, it's big stuff right now. I actually like it, it's a good movie. Very confusing, though, if you're not used to that kind of thing. Everything All at Once is about alternative universes. And when I think of the word alternative, I'm thinking about the switch statement. So let's take a look at some switch statements. I want to switch on universes. I want to have, and when I first did this example, I tried to find 20 of them, but I didn't. Let's see, boom, 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 boom. There it is. Okay, I'm going to go all the way around and back. And so we're going to go to that one. And can I scroll? No, scrolling isn't working. Okay, I think I know why. Here we go.
Oh, we changed the resolution, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. So I have sort of brief words like cats and rocks, and phrases like hot dogs and singer and sign spinner. And each of them represents an alternate universe. And what I want to do is go from an alternate universe to a slightly expanded definition of that universe. So, for example, if the word is hot dogs, then I want to display everyone has hot dog-shaped fingers. Or cats, everyone has a cat head. Rocks, let's see. If I'm going to emphasize, then I want asterisks around no. If I don't want to emphasize, then no asterisks around no. And then singer and sign spinner, those are where our main character, Evelyn, has different jobs. So this is a perfectly good switch statement, right?
I'm not totally convinced.
You don't like this. All right, let's run it. Let's run it. Okay, let's see. Wait, I want to see first. No, don't do that. Do this. Yeah? We're going to do cats and rocks. So that's what we're going to, let's see. And run. We're going to get the cat description and the rocks description. And we get not a statement. And live demo. How did that get there? Did you type that?
Yes, I did that.
Okay, all right. Let's try it again. Run. Shoe. All right, good. We got cats? No. Now we got it different. Bear with us, technical difficulties beyond our control. Okay, cats and rocks, and here's our switch statement, the traditional old favorite switch statement, and boom, and we've got everyone has a cat head, that's right. No life exists, only rocks, that's good. Wait, Evelyn has different jobs?
What's happening?
There must be an error that I intentionally put in there.
Of course.
You know what the error is, right? I forgot to put a break statement after rocks. And it's an easy mistake to make. I once taught a course, an introductory Java course, in which I said that I would eat this marker if nobody made that mistake during the progress of the course. And I wasn't afraid at all. There was just no way that there was going to be nobody who made the mistake.
I want you to see you eat a marker.
You're not going to because people make that mistake. They always do. So let's go on to another example, a more modern example, universe the sequel. And here we have the arrow syntax, and with the arrow syntax, you don't need break statements. Break statements are gone. Huzzah, huzzah. Now, there are a couple other features that you can use in the modern switch statement. One of them is, in addition to a case default, you can have a case null. That's wonderful. You know, the $1 billion mistake, well, now it's reduced to $1 million mistake. That's good. Another thing you can do is you can combine two values into one case clause. So case singer and sign spinner separate them by a comma. You don't need separate case clauses for them. We're getting rid of the legacy features that came from the C++ languages. A really good thing to do. And here's one more thing that's really, really useful and important. Switch is now, in addition to being a statement, it's an expression. What does being an expression means is that it has a value. So this entire text, from the start of the switch to the end of the switch is going to stand at runtime for just one string of characters, perhaps the string our universe, or perhaps the string everyone has a cat head. And you don't need breaks, because once you find out that everyone has a cat head, you're out of the story. If you do have to do logic in order to find the expression that you want the statement to represent, then you can do that logic within a particular case. And in that situation, you have the statement logic, and to indicate that you're going to make the switch statement evaluate to a particular expression, you use the new restricted keyword yield.
I heard that before, restricted keyword, right?
Same thing. I can do yield. I can do var yield equals yield.yield.yield.yield. All kinds of things. This idea about restricted keywords is one of my favorite things about Java. Almost total backward compatibility. The switch statement has gotten so much love from the Java community. I'm almost convinced that switch statements in Java are now Turing complete. They're just everything that they can do. So let's take another example. Oh, look at this, default throw illegal argument exception. For the default case there, not only do I have statement logic, throw no illegal argument exception, I don't even have an expression that it's evaluating to. And it doesn't have to, because I'm going to be jumping out of this code to the enclosing code. So let's take a look at Universes 3. This is what you've been looking at is the sequel. This is the third in the series. And here's a cool feature. You can branch, not particularly, if you don't want to branch on values, you can branch on types, right? So here we have an array list of universes and a stack of universes. And let's see how I guess I did both here. I did a group, well, all right. I can feed this thing a collection of universes. Oh, where's my, this one, right? Yeah, I feed it a collection of universes. And depending on what kind of collection class universes is in, it's either a array list or a stack. If it's an array list, then I want to call get to find the first element. If it's a stack, I want to call pop to find the first element. And that's an extremely, extremely handy feature when you want to have types that can, when you want to have code that can work for any kind of a collection, or any kind of a collection that can possibly be fed to this particular show first method. Let's go to Universes 4. Hey, sequels are always, right? I have an app that I wrote for my mobile app development class where I use a list, right? And it's Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Rocky 6, Rocky 7, Rocky 8, Rocky 9, Rocky 10. It's an infinite scrolling list. I've gone up to 2,000. Okay, here we go. This is not particularly a feature of records, but this is a good place to put it because it's always often classified with record types. The idea here is, this is the old way that we used to do instance of, and it was a little bit clunky. If you know, oops, wrong button. There we go. Thing, instance of, person. We had people and cats and animals and things in our various universes. If thing is an instance of person, then you have to do what persons do, which is talk. If it's an instance of an animal, then you have to do what animals do, which is make noise. And there's no make noise function, there's no make noise method for animals, and there's no make noise method for persons, and there's no talk method for animals. So you have to be careful and you have to do casting. Richard, do you like casting?
Casting sounds like a lot of noise to me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, you can get rid of it with pattern matching for instance of. And this is what happens when you do pattern matching for instance of. And this is new in, I believe, I don't know the exact number of whether it's in preview. We can look it up. If thing instance of person, then this syntax spawns a new variable whose name is your choice. In this case, I called it person. And then, if that's the case, then within the scope of this block, you can say person.talk without doing casting. In the same way, if thing is an instance of animal, then you spawn a new variable called animal, and you can use animal as if you know, in particular, that it is of type animal. So now the person and animal classes can be used in the same context without the use of casting. Good stuff, right? Richard, you have some good stuff too,
Absolutely.
Right?
So,
okay.
So this makes it much more easier for new people to start this, but we will have another good thing coming up.
Sure. I'm sorry, say that again? You're going to have to ask one more time. The acoustics in a room like this are crazy.
Is it already finalized?
No, it's in preview. What I thought you were asking is about the finalized construct and that's going, they're going to, okay. I'm going to get rid of that.
Okay, let's look at the emoji movie. So Barry, how is your emoji usage in your texting?
I never use it.
Okay.
Ever, ever, ever.
Is this because you're a man or because of your age?
Age.
Okay, good. Okay, so I realized that we I don't have any laughs for that, so okay. So I realized that we are in Georgia. So Georgia is the peach state, right? Correct? Okay, so I looked that up. So, but I was not confident enough to put peaches and eggplants in this presentation, so you forgive me for that. Okay, but I have some code that will open this emoji feature up to the next generation. Let me see here, because in preparation for this talk, I learned that there is Unicode, and Unicode comes with a set of emojis. And for me, having a new Unicode was not a big deal up until I learned that you get new emojis with every Unicode version. So with Java 19, we got Unicode 14, as you can see here, and I had this whole list here. So depending on what Java version you are on, you get a different set of emojis for you to use in your code. And just to have it here, who is on Java 8? Who is below 8? Good for you, good for you. And who is above 8? Perfect.
17? Who's on 17? Not bad.
Yeah, looks good. Okay, you want to move to 19 because with 19 you get these nice emojis that I will show you in a second. Bring back my scrolling here. So, you will get the most important emojis for the Java programming language, beans. Of course, you need Java beans. Then you get a pregnant male. I'm not judging or anything, but this reminds me of a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Junior. And I was talking to people and saying, this is the most horrific movie from Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then they reminded me there is Kindergarten Cop. So, yeah, I'm a big Schwarzenegger fan, so I love all the movies except for these two. And if you want to ask, yes, I love Conan too. So this is great. So if you are on Java 8, you rock, but you rock even more if you are on Java 14 because they invented the wheel. And as you can see, I can have this in my IDE just as an emoji. I just can copy and paste it, or I can have it here as Unicode. And if I run this, you can see that this also appears here on my console, which is good. And you can see Unicode coding and the copy and paste it is the same. And I have for you a nice Easter egg, if you will, because if you are observing the Easter celebrations, which is at the end of this week, we can beam in eggs, and of course we have eggs here. Let me zoom in this nest. As you can see, there are blue eggs in there. And if I'm switching this to beam out my eggs, I have them gone. So if you want to have an Easter egg in your software, and everybody should have an Easter egg in the software, you can do it like this. And the whole year, the Easter eggs are gone, and at Easter you can put them in the basket. So that's what that feature basically is for. Okay.
Cool.
Barry, how do you like that?
What's the movie where he plays a hero who comes out of the movie theater?
Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one for this session because we're almost in a cinema, right?
That's right. Alrighty. And now I go to the next slide. You've got 30.
Oh, I forgot these slides. So you can see what basically what is new in Java 19, and there are some emojis you need, and I think this is a little bit American focused because this is, in my opinion, this is the Uncle Sam, I want you gesture. So, and this is the military salute gesture, and this is what Europeans think of all of this. So, okay?
All right. Well, it's time to talk about Forrest Gump. And in the survey that I did with my students, they had almost all heard of Forrest Gump, even though it was made before they were born. Okay, all right. Yeah, Devnexus speaker finds an excuse to talk about chocolates. I admit it. If you were at the speaker dinner or jug leaders dinner last night, probably maybe you're not, doesn't matter. It was free alcohol. I wasn't the least bit interested, but there was a milkshake place that I had to stop at after the dinner. I just needed the sweets. So let's talk about chocolates and boxes of chocolates. And I don't want to do that. I want to go back. There it is. All right. There we go. I need a chocolate class. I guess my chocolate class, I just want to make one field. You know, normally you don't make one field, you make a whole bunch of fields. But I'm going to make only one because I don't want to, you know, we don't have all night. You don't want to see all this stuff. So just one field. And it's private, final, you know, good practice. So I'm going to want a...
Benny, you want to zoom out a little bit?
Constructor, yeah. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that with the... with the
control and mouse wheel.
Control mouse wheel. Very good. All right.
You can still read that? Still good? Okay.
All right. Yeah, I need a constructor, right? And since it's final, I need a getter and a setter. So there's get calories and... no, it's final, so I don't need a setter. Yeah. ToString, right? Do I need anything else? Is that okay?
I think you're good. Or?
No.
Do you disagree?
Huh? I think I need more.
Okay. Nobody's Java certified here? Yes. Thank you.
Equals?
Did you write this on your own, Barry, or?
I had IntelliJ write these methods for me, so it wasn't hard.
Okay.
So that should be okay, right? But there's still a problem. First of all, this equals method is totally boilerplate. It's exactly what IntelliJ created for me. So it's completely standard. So it would seem that you should be able to just say, hey, I want the standard equals method there. You shouldn't have to write all that stuff. You shouldn't even have to have it in your code when all you want is the same old standard stuff, the canonical equals method. Now, another thing you might want to do, somebody might want to tinker with it. And if it's there, and they can tinker with it, then they can get it wrong. Or they might try to read it and misinterpret it And or you might write something there, and it might be different from the standard. And if it's different from the standard, it's going to be buried in all this stuff. It's going to be buried in the middle of hash code equals with all this code in it, toString, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know this is not a lot of code as far as a lot of code goes, but the game in development is to make the code as absolutely clear and readable at a glance as possible. So when you've got something like this, and it's just boilerplate that you didn't really need to spell out again, all you needed to say was, hey, this is just the stuff that you would ordinarily see, it would be better to have a way of concisely describing that so that you don't have all this repetitious stuff. Let's do it. If you know what the punchline of this is, it's that all that code can be taken care of in just one line with the new restricted keyword record. So record chocolate in calories braces, that does it. That does all the stuff that I did in some, 20 or 30 lines of code earlier. Records are an amazing new feature that have been added to the Java programming language. The one thing you have to know about records is that their fields are immutable, and that's intentional. The idea there is that if you make a definition like this, you want to be able to do things within the record class that you wouldn't be able to trust if the record class didn't have immutable fields. But anyway, instead of one int calories, I can have int calories, I can have country of origin, I can have percentage of cacao, and so on and so forth. But now you might ask, what happens if I want something like the standard, but not exactly the boilerplate, not exactly what it is that IntelliJ would provide, or your standard ordinary programmer every day, all the time would provide? Well, when you create a record, you can, in addition to the record's standard methods, override one of the methods that are standard. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a brand new constructor. And in this constructor, what I'm doing is taking care to say, if somebody accidentally says that the calories of the chocolate that I'm about to eat is negative 1,000, I'm going to make sure that that doesn't really get represented in my code. So in this case, if somebody puts a negative number, or Lord knows, square root of -1, I don't know, for chocolate calories, then this is going to correct her, or at least catch the error and set it equal to 0. And you're going to say, well, now I can tinker with it, now I can mess it up, now I can change it. What is the difference between that and the code that I had to write earlier? And the difference is that this change now is really obvious for the reading of that code. So if anybody wants to use my chocolate class, they don't have to scan all the code to find out where my change from the standard was. They can just look at this and see it at a glance. And that's good stuff, good stuff. I think that I have more to say about records.
Yeah, you're breaking my heart with that 0 calorie thing there. I wanted to have a chocolate that has minus 2,000 calories.
I'm going to invent one. It's going to be imaginary numbers. Let me see here. Yes, okay. I have this example. Now, what I've got here is the answer to the question, why didn't you have anything in this talk that was specific to Java 20 and that could only be done in Java 20? And here's an answer. There weren't a lot of features. There were very few features that were of general interest that were introduced between Java 19 and Java 20. This is one of them, and if you have a record type named chocolate, then you can turn this code that works in Java 19 to this code that works in Java 20. And for your edification, I'm going to slip back and forth between them. The only difference is that the generic marker chocolate no longer needs to be there in Java 20. Again, making the code represent only the stuff that you absolutely need to see so that you can understand it and digest it better at a glance. I will say that you'll see that I've got an error marker here, and that's because the version of Java 20 that we're running here is not OpenJDK, it's another version, and it hasn't implemented this preview feature yet. But if I run OpenJDK 20, then this will compile if I say I want to enable preview features. If I don't say that I want to enable preview features, or if I'm using Java 19, then I get an error, a genuine error with this code. There's one other thing. Let me just double check and make sure that I'm on the right number here. Nope, that's it. Yeah? Okay. Let me go back here. Yeah? All right, let's do it. Oh, yeah. More casting. Right? Calories, chocolate. Reading it, looking at it. Yeah, chocolate has a calories. A calories field. And what I'm doing here is I'm in the middle of a for loop, and I'm looping through all of the chocolates inside of the all of the chocolate instances within the chocolate array list, chocolates array list. And for each of them, what I want to do is I have to sift out the number of calories. Now, just one hint here. You notice that when you're using a record, you don't say get calories, you just say .calories. Okay, that was intentional. But the idea here is that in order to access the calories field in a chocolate record, for this particular code, and this is Java 19 code, I have to explicitly ask for chocolate.calories. And when I first wrote the code, I put chocolate.calories here, and here, and here, and here, and I realized I could make a variable, an extra variable out of it. But there's another way, a brand new way, that works in preview in Java 20, but doesn't work in Java 19. And that's this. So this is cleaner. When you're in the middle of a for loop, then you can say, for each chocolate's calories in chocolates. And that's a brand new syntax that's called pattern matching. What it does is detect that there's a calories field inside of the chocolate class, and with that, you don't have to declare a new variable representing the chocolate.calories field of each individual chocolate in the array list. So now I can seamlessly refer to the calories within each chocolate. And now, you think I'm going to do another talk after this one. I'm going to leave while you do the next one and go get some chocolates to eat.
Okay, that's great.
All right, okay.
Bring some for me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's see what we have left here. So we're going from our box of chocolate to Jurassic Park. And as you can see, we employed a T-Rex because we know that T-Rexes are particularly good in typing because of their strength in their arms. So that's why we brought him in. And because we feel that we software developers often have these short arms for documentations because we don't like to write it. So, but we have a little bit of improvement coming on for documentation in Java 18, and these are code snippets in Java API documentation. Let me show you what that means. Let's go here. So we will start out up here. So this is my IDE, and we gotta look at it in the IDE and how it looks in the generated HTML file. So I have my HTML file here, and as you can see, I put a nice picture, so this is not what I'm trying to show. I'm trying to show here, we have, let me zoom in a little bit for you. We have method A, and as you can see, we have our body, our T-Rex body, and he should eat a human. Let's see how that works out for us. So, okay, and this is just my documentation. I'm just trying to convey here how this should be used, so you can use a T-Rex and make him eat a human. So, and as you can see, I have no line breaks here, no syntax highlighting, so this is pretty bad. And we want to try to evolve this a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we add a little bit of HTML magic, which is always great to have HTML like embedded in stuff, as we know for 20 years. So it's a joke, it's not good. So please don't do that anymore, because this is a little bit better though, because the IDE can understand HTML and render this, and so we have line breaks, which is a beginning, so this is good. And then in example C, I want to highlight each human, because this is like the most important thing here. So as our IDE can interpret HTML, it will give us each human in a bold font, so we can know that this is what we really want to look at in this example. So this is great. This is great, but we have to do it in a different way from now on. So let's look at example D, and this is the new thing. We get rid of the HTML tags and use a construct that is now embedded in Javadoc, and this is the snippet tag. And this is great because now I get links here, which is pretty great. I get syntax highlighting. You listen to all the keywords that Barry told you about. Tell me again, what is restricted? What keyword?
There are a handful of them, but we've got var, we've got yield, sealed, non-sealed.
Oh, we got to talk about seals later,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay, so this is great. So this is nice, but let's have a look at how this looks in our HTML document. And I skipped here a few because they're not that interesting. And I'm here at D, and I have a nice copy button, which is always good for copy and pasting because nobody knows how to use like the keys for it. But also I have that here. And what I'm missing here is I'm missing my syntax highlighting, and I'm missing my links, which is like not that good. So, but then again, who reads that? People all use their IDEs. So let's go back to the IDE. Let's see if we can do even better. So with then again, I'm running into my scrolling problem here. When I go to E, I can do highlight, and I can say here, highlight substring eat goat. Let's see how that turns out for us. I don't see it. Do you? No.
I don't see it.
No. That's something that does not work in the IDE. So it's the same because I already have links here. There's no highlighting. Again, in my HTML document, I get that. So as you can see, there's good in both sides. And I got here eat goat, which is great. And why did we switch from eat human to eat goat? Why did we do that? Because we have a nice thing going on here.
Eat goat sounds like an insult.
Not to a T-Rex, they like that.
Okay, all right.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chocolates.
Also, so the nice thing here is when we look at each human here, it will tell us that it found no candidates, so it does not match. So we have a check built in here, and it gives me a hint, hey, you wrote your documentation wrong, which is great, because if you have wrong documentation, this is pretty bad. So this is good, so that checks for that, and I can fix it, and I can say eat goat again. Okay, that's great. But we can do even better. We can go with our example F, which adds highlight to a specific region. So I say, with this regex here, I say I want to highlight buddy because he's my buddy and I really like him. Let's see how that turns out for us. So again, nothing in the IDE, but then again, in our HTML document, we get that highlighted. So that's great. And let's look at the last version we have at number at G. And here we are using links, which the IDE did all the way along. So nothing changed here. But we said we wanted to link the substring T-Rex to target T-Rex. And so I can have a link here to my class T-Rex, and I can click it. So this is fine. As you can see, T-Rex has a lot of emojis going on. So eat goat, we have like go after sheep and all that stuff going on here. So this is great. But as you can see, there is still work to do to have that really out in the open, but you can start using this feature right now and do better for documentation, right, Barry?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the seals.
Do we want to do that? What time do we have? Do we end it in 5 minutes? Or
oh, we have 5 minutes left. So
we have
do
5
seals.
minutes. Yeah, let's do. Yeah, okay.
Do we feed the seals to the T-Rex?
Yeah. Burn After Reading. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a terrific movie. It's the Coen brothers. And it's about a CIA agent. So let me show you the CIA kinds of jobs in the CIA. This is almost an actual official list, a shortened list, brief list. CIA, the United States Central Intelligence Agency. I have abstract, oh, where's my thing? Abstract class CIA, right? And intelligence, support, clandestine. There are more categories, but let's just do 3. And there are 2 kinds of intelligence: economic intelligence, terror intelligence, and then somebody accidentally put cafeteria in there. That's not an intelligence branch of the CIA. What we want to do is we want to be able to restrict the classes that are allowed to extend certain other classes. And sealed classes is what we can use to do that. So here, the abstract class is sealed, and we have intelligence, support, clandestine. But the idea is if it's sealed and it permits intelligence, support, clandestine, nothing else can override it. Nothing else can override the CIA, nothing else can extend the CIA class. So, for example, and this thing is, okay, the intelligence class is also sealed, so then I can't create a cafeteria class from it. And that gives me more fine-tuning of who can extend what than I have without sealed classes. And there are details there, and I encourage you to look into them, but I don't want to do it because we're running out of minutes. So now it's time
to talk about how you can apply all that in your code. And of course, you can do it by hand. You learned about new hip features, which will help you freshen up your code a little bit in your code base so you can attract new young developers into your team. And to make it worth their while, you don't have to do it all by hand. So there are tools out there, for example, Eclipse and IntelliJ, that will help you in your IDE to convert old code to new syntax. And of course, there is SonarQube, SonarLint. They have a booth here. I think it's branded now SonarCloud, of course. And there is Open Rewrite. They also have a booth here. I think they are going under Moderne. It's just through the wall. Which is a very nice tool that allows you to apply recipes. And there is a recipe if you had your hand up at Java 8. So there's a recipe when you want to go from Java 8 to Java 11 or Java 17. You can just give your code to this nice little tool. There are Maven plugins and CLI tools and whatnot to use this. And then those recipes basically describe a way to refactor or rewrite your code to newer features. And this does a really good job, and they are, I've talked to Tim, he's working there, and we have talked about doing recipes to do this for Java 20 and 21. So when Java 21 is out and you want to go to Java 21, the next LTS version of Java, you might want to consider doing that.
And if you want to learn about Open Rewrite, the Garden State Java user group, of which I am a co-leader, has a video on its channel about Open Rewrite. It's terrific.
Go and check it out. So we have to do the poll. I forgot all about that. So you got to choose which one of these you liked the most. So, and we will do this by applause. So if you liked Groundhog Day, our var feature from Barry the most, give it a nice clap now. Okay, not happening. Okay, then text blocks, I'd say, how do you like the text block features? Okay, that was better, right?
That was better.
What about the switch?
Even better.
Emoji movie. Okay, I didn't expect that, okay. So what about the records? Our new nice documentation formattation. And our last thing, seal clauses, burn after reading. So
Who's the winner, do you think?
I'd say it's between switch and records. I'd say it's switch, right?
Sounds like it, yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, sounds right? Okay.
Like I said, the Switch gets a lot of love in the Java community. And Switch wants to thank you. Switch is accepting the award, and it's giving a long-winded speech, but we don't want to keep you here by reading it. So we want to thank you very much for attending. If you have any questions, find us in the next day or two. Thank you.